by Judiciary Committee and Civil Justice Subcommittee and Representative Workman and others. CS for HB549, a bill to be entitled an act relating to dissolution of marriage.
Representative Workman, you recognize to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the reform of our alimony system in Florida that I'm very proud of. We've worked very closely with the Florida Family Section. I think it's a great bill and I look forward to your support. That is the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Other amendments?
None on the desk.
Is there debate? Representative Rousson in debate.
No, Speaker.
Sorry. Representative Stafford in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this bill. This is yet another change in an ongoing attempt to limit alimony in this state. I believe this bill is drastically unfair, and I think this bill is harmful. It appears that a majority of the changes that are intended to protect the person paying alimony and makes it harder for the person receiving alimony. As a former domestic violence attorney, I know how critical alimony is to a spouse who never worked, not because he or she didn't want to, because he or she wasn't allowed to. Not allowed to work or not allowed to leave the home without their spouse. To limit access and make it harder to receive alimony is not fair and it's not right. Also, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous road to travel to allow retroactive changes to existing alimony agreements that have already been negotiated, agreed to, and put into place. This will open Pandora's box. This bill is not just an increased burden on the courts and an increased burden on one of the parties, but it's also an increased burden on society. I think this bill will do more harm than good, so I ask that you join me and vote no on this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Further debate. Further debate. Representative Eisenagel in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wasn't going to debate on this bill, but I felt that it was necessary after some of the debate I heard. Members, let's be clear. This bill simply makes alimony in Florida more fair. It updates a system that has been in place for decades. And let there be no mistake, this is a bipartisan bill. In civil justice, it passed with only 2 no votes. Those 2 no votes were Republicans. Every Democrat who voted for it. And in judiciary, it passed with only 1 no vote. It's a bipartisan bill. The sponsor has worked very hard on the bill with everybody who is concerned. He's made a bunch of changes. This is a good bill. It'll bring us into the new century in which we live. And I encourage you to vote for this bill that makes alimony more fair in Florida.
Further debate. Representative Berman in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I'd like to say that there was bipartisan support in the beginning on this bill, and we continued to work on it, and it did not end up in the place where it needed to be. And I don't agree that there is bipartisan support on this bill. As a woman who's been married for over 28 years, I think this legislation sends the wrong message. 1 year and done without any financial resolution is not how divorces should be handled in Florida. The bill's requirement that a party can request mandatory bifurcation of divorce cases after 365 days, in other words, separating the divorce from the financial aspects, is invalid, unnecessary, and harmful to the parties. In addition, this bill is unfairly biased in favor of the obligor spouse. The court is required to modify or terminate the alimony award if based upon the existence of a supportive relationship. Note, the court already has the discretion to do that. Now it's required. A supportive relationship does not have to be a marriage and can be temporary and fleeting. If that relationship ends, what happens to the spouse's support? Nothing. This bill specifically says that the court can't retain jurisdiction of this issue. As an exact opposite, the bill prohibits factoring the income or assets of a new spouse of the obligor. So the obligor could be living in luxury, which can't be counted, while the other spouse could be in a fleeting temporary relationship, which has to be used in determining their support. Really? There are too many problems with this bill, members. I urge you not to vote for it. Thank you.
Further debate. Representative Kriegel in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Workman, thank you for this bill.
Further debate. Representative Schwartz in debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I, too, am not supportive of this bill and was the no vote in committee because overall it isn't a fair bill. As I mentioned in questions yesterday, the supportive relationship on the spouse who's receiving alimony, which is usually the woman, is counted, while the income and assets of the spouse who pays the alimony in this bill will not be counted at all. This does not seem fair. There is a lot of question of what is fair, because there are a lot of people who will feel that they had been hurt in the divorce court. It is probably the most emotional place that a person can be, or any experience that we have. I don't think that this bill should put in stone procedures for alimony which don't exist now and currently are satisfactory, but though one may not have liked the judge's decision. I suggest that you do not vote for this bill.
Further debate. Seeing none, Representative Workman, you recognize to close on your bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the lively debate. I'm a bit surprised. All we're doing with this alimony is making it fair. I think all would agree that alimony is needed and must remain in this state, and it's there to assist one spouse after a divorce. But also, I think everyone also agrees, and I hear it over and over again, that alimony should remain, or it should be, gender neutral. It should also be non-punitive. And I assure you, all this bill does is ensure that alimony is blind to the sex of the receiving spouse, ex-spouse, and that is non-punitive. This is a fair bill. It allows for flexibility of the courts to make sure that alimony is taken care of correctly and that no one is unfairly treated in our courts. I ask for your favorable support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Question now occurs on final passage of CS for HB549. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
83 yeas, 30 nays, Mr. Speaker.
So the bill passes.